Hello now, this is another video coming from Zane. Topic I want to talk about right now. And, this has been kind of circling through my mind with all the summer movies that are coming out. We got Thor, we got Captain America, and in the next few years, we got the Avengers movie coming out. We got another Hulk movie, I think. I'm not sure. And we also have another Dark Knight movie, which I think people are looking forward to the most, and also another Superman movie, which should be pretty good, a lot better than that crappy remake that was made not too long ago. Which makes me think, what is the purpose of superheroes, and what is also their purpose of supervillains? Because you think about it, no one really thinks about the villains. How much thought is it put into them? Good villains are like the Joker, probably one of the most notable ones, who Heath Ledger played that part perfectly. No one could have done any better than what he did. And you also got Bizarro and General Zod and Darkseid for Superman. You also got Magneto, William Stryker, the Sentinel, and all these other villains from the X-Men series. You got Bullseye from Daredevil, you got Doctor Doom from Fantastic Four, you got all these really good supervillains. The thing is, though, no one really gives, I'm not saying that all supervillains are super amazing, but the thing is, not a lot of people give a lot of credit to them, and how much brains, because if you think about it, the Joker is probably one of the most smartest people around, but he's also the most psychotic. He kills so many people, and he's portrayed as probably the perfect villain. But the problem is, though, people think, oh well, Batman, if he took care of all the supervillains, there's a reason why. Batman and Superman, they need those supervillains just as much as those supervillains need the superheroes. If you think about it, it'd be kind of awesome if you were just if I had to be a superhero, I would just be a superhero that just occasionally saved people, not want someone to protect an entire city, because then people would be relying on you and think that you could just solve all the world's problems. Well, the thing is, though, that shouldn't be a superhero's responsibility, because there are things that regular people can take care of, like a bank robbery. Obviously, in the course, this doesn't reflect real life, but in real life, if there was a bank robbery, it would just be like, hey, Superman, can you go stop this? Or hey, Batman, can you go stop this? That's the whole reason why. And there's reasons why, because I'm sure there's big name things that happen under the covers, but the thing is, there's special forces that take care of those. That's why people are like, oh, I wish I had superpowers. The thing is, there are already super amazing people out there. But the thing is, honestly, if I had to choose between being if I was casted in a play, to be honest, even though I would lose, I would honestly be very interested in being the villain, just to kind of tap into the dark side of myself, see how far I can go. Kind of like Natalie Portman in Black Swan. She has to tap into her dark side in the Nutcracker, and honestly, it's one of the most written, well-deserved movies. I personally haven't seen it. I'm just going by what critics have said, and really, just to tap into that darker part of yourself to see how deep you can really go, it just really interests me. But it doesn't say I wouldn't want to be a superhero. And also, the question is, I got questions for everyone who views this. One is, if you were to pick one superpower, whether it's borrowed from another superhero or your own, which one would it be? Would you want to read minds, super speed, super strength, flight, invisibility, ice breath, heat vision, any of those? You can only pick one. You can't go, oh, well, I want this. No, it's a superpower, not superpowers. Just one. You only get one. Me personally, I just like to fly. I think that would be really cool, just to take off and fly. Super strength can get kind of boring after a while, because the thing is, if you think about it, super strength, you have to kind of watch how you grip things. So you could actually if I could go just tap to the camera and I could break it just without actually doing it. And also, super speed would get super speed would be pretty cool too. But the thing is, though, you have to learn how to control it. It's just all superpowers you have to learn how to control. That's what makes X-Men so good. Is that X-Men? There's X-Men. They show the teenagers struggling about controlling their powers, which makes X-Men so unique and which makes them so good. I mean, probably the best superhero movie, not including The Dark Knight, because that's probably the best one. But other than those, the best ones are probably the classic Superman movies. I mean, Superman 1 and 2 are probably some of the best Superman movies around. They're the only good Superman movies around. The first and second one. Third one was okay, even though it had Richard Pryor. The Superman Returns was a joke. That one, I watched that one, and I was so bored throughout that entire movie. That whole movie, the only thing that movie reflected on was his relationship to Lois Lane. That's what that whole movie revolved around. The movie was just so incredibly boring. There are great movies out there. I mean, there are great superhero movies out there. It just, you get Christopher Nolan's Dark Knight, which I watched Roger Ebert's review on it, and on Batman Begins, and he's perfectly right. Those two movies, the movies are so good that they actually capture how dark Batman's character really is. I mean, you get characters like the Red Hood, you got Killer Croc. I mean, you got great villains. I mean, I can name them all, and they're just very good. I mean, and really, you got the iconic ones, and I mean, I'll probably list some of my favorite villains ever in comic books, and at the end of this video, and there's just so many great villains at the end of this, and it's awesome. I mean, honestly, what makes a superhero is not his superpowers, but how good his supervillains are. Because because really, if there weren't any supervillains, there would be nothing really fun to do. I mean, that's what makes a superhero. I'm not saying saving the world is fun all the time, but it's what makes a superhero. A superhero is the villain. The superhero villain is just as important as the actual hero itself. Now, another question I have to ask is not only what superpower would you have, but if you could pick one superhero from any comic book, and I'm also including Batman and the Punisher in there, because they both don't have superpowers, but they're both incredibly skilled at other things. If you could be one superhero, who would you be? And why? That includes Doctor Strange. You can even say supervillain. You could say Ra's al Ghul, who lives forever because of the Lazarus Pit. But it's up to you. You choose what you want. Me personally, like, if I could be one superhero, I'd probably say Superman. Sorry, China, but he has way too many powers that are just that awesome. And it really is because of all the superpowers he has. I mean, yeah, he's super strength, but he can fly, speed, heat vision, all this other stuff. Yeah. And I will end this video with my favorite supervillains around. Thank you, and bye.
Familiar faces, worn out places, worn out faces, bright and early for their daily races, going nowhere, going nowhere. Their tears are filling up their glasses, no expression.